If you have money and don't think you can beat Google, Meta, Microsoft, and NVIDIA, you can either take the cash and buy Bitcoin, issue equity and buy Bitcoin, or issue debt, either senior debt or, even better, convertible debt that can be converted to your equity and buy Bitcoin. This lets you recapitalize with an asset that is appreciating instead of decapitalizing and having nothing or holding capital in an asset that is depreciating and has a negative real yield and burning shareholder value. We'll keep adding, right? We'll keep adding Bitcoin, that is. If you were to ask a real estate developer in the middle of New York City, "Oh, you own about 8 blocks of New York City," they would say, "No, when are you done? When are you done?" Then they said, "Well, we'll buy the 9th block here when we can get the money together, and then the 10th. And if you asked, "When are you going to leave New York City?" people who live in New York City will tell you that there's no better place than their city. They'll keep building, and when they can't build out, they'll build up, right? People say things like, "I wanted to buy another 18 blocks, but I can't. So I'm going to rezone the blocks I own and replace a 20-story building with a 100-story building." That's Hudson Yards for you, or something similar. MicroStrategy is going to keep improving its Bitcoin position, which means it will get hard even faster, right? Block told everyone last week that they are going to start Bitcoin every month. A lot of Bitcoin miners have added to the value of Bitcoin. Of those, a lot of them are mining Bitcoin right now instead of selling it. There will likely be more Bitcoin miners who buy more. There will likely be more Bitcoin platforms that buy more. It looks like the number of current ETFs is growing. There are now 22 spot ETFs in the world, and they're all competing with each other in the market, so they'll work harder. As the new week begins, Bitcoin is carefully holding on to $60,000 as opinions remain split between positive and bearish. The price of Bitcoin is staying in a small trading range for now, but in the next few days, a number of things could make big changes happen. The big picture of the U.S. economy and comments from Jerome Powell, the head of the Federal Reserve, this week could make risky investments like Bitcoin very volatile. Even in this well-known range, Bitcoin bulls have a lot to lose. There are signs in the market that a greater correction is coming, and traders are marking levels that could be important for the next move. These levels are mostly about bid liquidity below $1.50,000, which is seen as a good area for a market bottom in the long run. But in shorter time frames, BTC seems more interested in clearing liquidity to the upside to start the week. A well-known trader pointed out that the so-called bull market support band is still there to help. The price bounced right off of this band last week. It's made up of 2 exponential moving averages, AMAs. The band has always been a good support during this and earlier bull cycles. CoinGlass's most recent data shows that a new block of bids worth $1.65 million was made at around $1.625 on May 13th. A cloud of asked liquidity that was above $1.62 now being cleared, which could make way for the next spot price fight. The day before, another trader named Scoo said that the support near $1.6000 probably caused by idle spot buying. Noting the skew and not seeing a test overall, a good spot bid up $60,000 to $58,000 shows that there is a lot of buying interest in that price range. This bid support could help Bitcoin stay stable as it deals with the possibility of market instability in the days to come. So I think you'll see other of these Russell 1000 at some point. Business, right? Which one of them wants to get up from being a zombie? It seems like all you have to do is wait for someone to want the money. I believe that when they do that, the price of Bitcoin goes up and I have to go after it. The first Bitcoins I bought were worth less than $10,000. Now I'm getting Bitcoins for around $60, which is fine with me. I have no idea where we'll end up. We'll get more, I'm sure. From here, we'll add on. We are going to buy more Bitcoin than we have now. We will do this with a mix of cash, debt, especially convertible debt, and stock. That will depend on the capital markets and a lot of other factors. But I think I can move the world, Archimedes said. Give me a long enough lever and a place to stand, so Bitcoin is the place to be, right? It's not a good or service, it's a lack of it. If there isn't enough of something, it would be like telling you about one place that is the center of all trade in the world. There is a lot of business going on there. That city is only 276 blocks long, 276 blocks wide, and 276 blocks high. One day, every country in the world will be moving their capital through that city. Also, about 94% of those blocks are taken, but you can still buy another one if you want to. Would you like to buy more? And I said, yes, I want to keep buying, because if I could have bought New York or Manhattan 150, 200, 30 or 300 years ago, tell me when that would have been a bad idea. I believe that being able to hold has always been a good thing. as long as you can keep the house. Why would you want to live in Manhattan? The island is made of granite and is in the middle of Long Island Sound and the Hudson River. It has beautiful natural ports. It's how you get to North America. It was always the best spot for a port, right? When you look at it, cruise around it, and think about how that was built on top of that schist, it's clear that people will want to live and do business in that city for hundreds of years. So I think you'll see these Russell 1000 companies at some point, right? Which one of them wants to stop being a zombie? It seems like all you have to do is wait for someone to want the money. I believe that when they do that, the price of Bitcoin goes up, and I have to go after it. It was less than 10,000 Bitcoins when I bought them for the first time, and it's now in the 60s. That's fine. I have no idea where we'll end up. We'll get more, I'm sure. There will be more Bitcoin than there is now. We'll pay for it with both cash on hand and debt, especially debt that can be converted into cash. And we'll do it with money. And that will depend on the stock markets and a lot of other factors. But I believe Archimedes said, "Give me a long enough lever and a place to stand, and I will move the world so Bitcoin is the place to be," right? It's not a good or service, it's a lack of it. So if there isn't enough of something, it's like telling you about one place that is the center of all trade in the world. There is a lot of business going on there. One day, every country in the world will move their capital through that. But the city itself is only 276 by 276 by 276 by 276 blocks. By the way, it's pretty much 94% full. You may purchase an extra block, though. Would you like to buy more? And the answer is yes. I want to keep buying because, well, if I could have bought New York City 150, 230, or 300 years ago, tell me when that would have been a bad idea. It's always been smart to be able to hold. As long as you can keep the house. Why would you want to live in Manhattan? It has great natural ports and is made of granite. It is in the middle of Island Sound and the Hudson. It's how you get to North America. It was always the best spot for a port. There's no doubt about it when you look at it, drive around it, and think about how you can build that on top of that schist.